Penalty commencing. The trauma of the monster Hellfire Maiden is being created. A fancy Western-style residence. I was here. No, the word here probably didn't fit. I wasn't here. It was just my consciousness floating around like a ghost, looking down at things from a third-person perspective. What is this? I was taken aback. What's happening? Save me. Then, I heard a voice. A young child was sitting in the corner of the 2st floor lobby. At first, I thought she was talking to me, but she pleaded to someone else. Please save me, I'm hungry, something to eat, please. A person dressed like a noble. Orphans like you are the plague of this kingdom. Something to eat. Left alone, you eat society. You don't even work. You wander around from one village to the next, spreading your disease. I'm a prison ward that isolates those like you from the kingdom. In an instant, information entered my brain. A time when there were many wanderers because there wasn't enough food. The noble gathered orphans into his residence. He funded an orphanage as a cover. He was known as a kind wealthy man, a great businessman, and a conscientious man with knowledge. Others treat you as rotten. I'm different. But in this large mansion, I'm going to educate you. The noble was just a tyrant. Those who look for food just because they're hungry are beasts. Of course, you were born in the field like beasts, but you shouldn't live like one. I'm hungry. Endure it. Even if you're hungry, endure it. Endure it, and become a human. The noble smiled. It was a generous smile. He was someone who was able to smile at a skinny child whose rib cage could be seen. Repent. The crazy bastard called other crazy bastards. Aak. Oh, children of witches. The plague of our kingdom. Don't worry. God never turns his back on you. Like him, I won't turn my back on you, sheep. It hurts. Some god's priest raised his hammer. Pray. A time when lunacy was wrapped up as kindness. The screams didn't end inside the mansion. I'm hungry. Starvation. I don't like it, please forgive me. Why, forgive me. Torture. Thank you, kind sir. Kind man, reward for enduring pain. Promise. Thank you. Thank you, kind man. Brainwashing. These orphans were brought in like corpses and left as corpses. It was only the death of someone who was about to die, but the children couldn't imagine the pain between the two. Tens, hundreds, thousands were in the mansion. And tens, hundreds, thousands of deaths. I stared blankly at the sight in front of me. Just what? Wow. EFF. What's this? I was able to come to attention thanks to someone. You were looking too? I thought you weren't here. I was looking from the beginning. I didn't know you were here. I couldn't see you. Seems like both of our consciousnesses are floating around. That's not my problem. Bei Hurayong spoke. What kind of crazy psychos are these? Ha! They're educating them into humans? How would these non-human bastards educate others into humans? This is probably the origin of the 10th floor boss stage. Before my consciousness flew over here, a voice told. The death of the enemy who killed you is being reenacted. If it was the enemy who killed me, it was the real doll hiding somewhere in the Hellfire residence. That meant this was the trauma the doll remembered. I had no idea. I whispered. The monster was a human when it was alive. Not all monsters are like that. Only the bosses are like that. Usually boss monsters are made from humans from other worlds. I heard him click his tongue. Carnivorous plants, or heroes of other worlds. Things like those. As you cross the 11th floor, it becomes more intense. What? Why didn't you tell me that? You didn't ask. He was so shameless that I was speechless. But I've never seen something like this. TSK. What? The origin you talked about. The scenes we see now. I knew boss monsters were from other worlds, but how would I know what happened to them? It's not like I'm psychic. Bei Hurayong muttered to himself. I feel like shit. Agreed.
Yeah.
Things worse than this were probably happening all over the world right now, but imagining it and seeing for myself was different. I didn't know if it was a good or bad thing. Fire. But the trauma ended soon. Some servant accidentally tipped over a candle. The servant passed by without noticing it. It was night time. When people were sleeping, fire slowly and quietly spread. It was too late when someone realized the flames. Cough, gasp. Cough. We have to get Awa. The flames soared up. The ropes in the basement burned up. The chains burned up. The cuffs around the orphans burned up as well, and brainwashed kids, tortured kids, and starved kids burned. It was like the fire burned all brainwashing, injuries, and starvation. Ah! The children opened their mouths. The burning chains were tightened around the children's ankles and wrists. They couldn't move, like they were dolls. They just screamed. However, I could hear it. I don't want to die. Hate. I'm hungry. I want to live. Kind sir. The grudges and resentment entering my consciousness. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't have a family. But it was still okay. I wanted to play a bit more. But it's not our fault. I feel wronged. I didn't do it. I'm hungry. The mansion burned up. The chandelier in the first floor lobby burned up. The bedroom of the residence's owner burned up. The fancy curtains. And the stone stairs that led down to the basement. I don't want to die. Crack. Crack. Sparks flew everywhere. Now what I could see was a mansion burning up from far away. Trauma reenactment finished. The penalty is ending. And I returned to a day before. When I opened my eyes, Bei Hurayong and I didn't say anything. We both silently sat on the bed. Rather than being shocked, it was because we didn't know how to react. After a while, Bei Hurayong scratched the back of his head. It was really sad and pitiful. I saw it well. But isn't there nothing we can do? Wow. That's the first thing you say? You really? Yup. Right. My personality is trash. He frowned. Have you ever seen a gorilla get mad? It was totally similar to this. But the truth is always like shit. The 10th floor boss is just a monster, and the children have already died in another world. It's something that happened a long time ago. Zombie. What can you do? And if it was something that happened in this tower, you could die 4,000 or 5,000 times to return to the past. But that happened in another world in a different time. Even if I was alive, I couldn't fix that. Even if I was Sword God and not Sword Emperor, I couldn't do it. He was right. Find the real king and hunt it. Kill it. Bei Hurayong spoke. and go to the 11th floor. That's the only way you're gonna clear the 20th, 30th, 40th, and 50th floor. If you decided to become the hunter at the top, deal with these things yourself. He was right again. But Flame Emperor also thought that way. Flame Emperor. Shit Emperor.
Yo. So? Ha!
The first human I hunted. I got up from my bed. I tied my sleeping bag to my backpack. I carried my backpack. I inserted my sword into my waist. In other words, I was ready to climb the tower. Even though it wasn't the best, I was still getting ready a hunter. Did you know?
Yo. So? Ha!
Would have 100% found the real doll and exploded its head. Whether he saw the trauma or not. Without any hesitation. So what? I don't want to be like that Flame Emperor bastard. I climbed the tower. Like the last time, I tricked the doorkeeper. And I stepped in front of the mansion again. The same noble mansion that I saw in the trauma. Hey! You're not a baby. You're not gonna get the boss just because you don't want to be like that guy? What are you gonna do? You have to get rid of the boss to clear the stage, you zombie fool. Who said so? What? I put my hands on the door and murmured to myself. Damn. I was stupid. What are you talking about? I was stupid. And you were equally stupid. Shit. We're saying we can't remember. Bei Hurayong wrinkled his forehead. Did this kid lose his mind? You being stupid is a fact all over the world, but why am I stupid too? I grew up hearing that I was a genius. Skill card. I mumbled in annoyance. The S-class skill card we didn't pick. Do you remember it? The Hellfire Limit. You went crazy saying I had to pick this one. Of course I remember. Huh, this zombie. Fine, listen. Bei Hurayong rattled on with a frown. I guess the fact that he was called a genius when he was younger wasn't a lie. He said everything on the card without a single mistake. Hellfire Trap. Rank S. Effects, regrets. Resentment. Complaints. What you couldn't do, the voice that you couldn't say, the wishes that you weren't able to achieve. Burn them all. It's hot. Is it hot? Make the world a clump of fire. I feel like I'll die. Die. If you want you, the aura's hellfire will descend anywhere within 2 kilometers of you. No one can leave the hell without your permission. No one. However, you have to be within the radius. I quietly listened to the skill summary and asked him. Sword Emperor. Don't you think something's wrong? Sheesh, this is so frustrating. What's wrong? The last section. No one can leave the hell without your permission. No one. I spoke. It says no one can escape from the hellfire trap without the boss monster's permission. No one. Then just how were the players who challenged the 10th floor able to escape from it? Huh? Bei Hurayong blinked. Huh? Fuck.
Yeah.
Why? There was a guild called Black Dragon. The person who controlled them was the rank 2 hunter. The Black Witch challenged the 10th floor countless times. Every time she did, she failed. The rank 2 failed, but all the hunters came back alive. They all came back alive. It doesn't make sense. I put some strength onto my arms. It slowly opened. It says escaping itself is impossible if the boss doesn't let you go. That's the skill, and they escaped perfectly fine even without killing the boss. Everyone. So it doesn't make sense. Then, what happened? Shit. There's only one answer. Creak. The door opened like it was welcoming me with its arms wide open. The boss let them escape. The 10th floor boss. The stage that humanity hadn't been able to subjugate. The mansion of Hellfire Prison came to view. You have entered the boss stage. The challenger is Hunter Kim Gongja. One person. May luck be with you. Can't you tell seeing how she let them escape? The boss, they never considered the hunters enemies. The boss stage is commencing. They just wanted to play with the people who came. Candles. All over the mansion, candles tilted over. Fire spread from where they fell over. Giggle giggle. Dolls came from flames. They couldn't move, like they were tied down by something. They just turned their heads to look at me. Are you gonna play with me? The dolls opened their mouths. Are you gonna play with us? Freeze tag? The flower has bloomed? Hide and seek? The ice melted. The flowers all ripped. Let's go with hide and seek. Let's play with us. Play hide and seek with us. The flames soared up. The chandelier in the first floor lobby burned up. The bedroom of the residence's owner burned up. The fancy curtains. And the stone stairs that led down to the basement. In the midst of everything, the children, who were now dolls, didn't burn up. I clenched my teeth. All right. I'll play with you. Your skill is activating. The skill I received from my last lie. I used the fire immunity skill on myself. The moment the skill was activated, the heat washed away from my body. I could breathe easily. My vision was a bit clearer from the smoke too. I could see the faces of the dolls. Huh? He's not burning. The dolls' faces were all different. They didn't have any expressions, but I knew. Isn't it hot? Weird guy. Can you play? Are you gonna play with us? I nodded my head again. Yup. Hide and seek. Be careful. I never lost hide and seek when I was young. Giggle giggle. It's a weird guy. Hide. Everyone hide. The dolls all laughed. I told them to hide, but no one moved. Tens. Hundreds. Thousands of children laughed. Ready or not, here I come. Ready or not. Hide and seek began. Got you. I roamed the mansion. I grabbed dolls while I walked around. When I patted their heads, the dolls' heads creaked up. Then, they opened their mouths to speak. Beep. Not me. The dolls disappeared while laughing. Not me. Not me. Everywhere I turned, there were dolls. There were so many. I got each and every one of them. One. Hey, this is. Another one. This is a memorial service. Bei Hurayon muttered. Memorial service. Comforting the soul of a dead person. I quietly walked around the mansion. I saw the chains that wrapped the orphans, and I saw their cuffs. Where the chains and cuffs were, there were always dolls there. The fire burned up. It's not me. Not me. Not me. No. Not me. Me, not me. Not me. Time flew by. Eventually, I was in the basement. I had just stepped down the long stone stairs. There were dolls on the stairs as well. They were all toppled over, like they had stopped while trying to escape from the basement. I got all the children who had fallen on the stairs and stood in front of the last doll. "Are you gonna play with us?" The doll was leaning against the wall. Around the doll, there were hammers, scythes, and nails. I slowly walked towards it, and I patted the hairless doll's head. "Got you." The head of the child who made this hellfire was small, enough to be wrapped around one hand. "You're it now, kiddo." There was silence. The doll raised its head. Like the other dolls, the doll was expressionless. The doll spoke with the face that lost its expression. "Kind man." Its voice wasn't the only thing it let out. Lips, skin, eyes. Her body slid down like paper. The fire instantly swallowed the doll, and it continued to speak like a broken record. "Thank you." And it melted. "Thank you." The doll burned up. The chains melted down. Cuffs, hammer, scythe, pick, nails, they all burned up. Even the trace of starvation. The fire that had lived its life completely disappeared. Death disappeared without a trace. I stood alone in the middle of the abandoned mansion. 4 years. Congratulations. For years, humanity hadn't been able to clear this place. Normal stage clear. Hidden stage clear. You have cleared the bonus stage. That day, the tower's 10th floor was cleared. The challenger is Hunter Kim Gongja. 1 person. Calculating rewards, calculation finished. The reward will be given 24 hours later, once you enter the 11th floor. Bonus stage clear. Something that no one else had done yet. I did that. Me, who wasn't even in the ranking. If this was known, the world would flip around.
Ha!
But I didn't feel comfortable. Like I was happy and sad at the same time. I stood in the ash-covered building. "Hey. Why do you look like you ate shit? You even cleared the hidden stage." I can count the number of times I cleared a hidden stage on one hand. The reward will probably be pretty good. A psychopath like you wouldn't know why I'm gloomy right now. Since you don't have any humanity. Now that I see, you didn't eat shit but you're shitting me right now. It was surprising. My gloominess disappeared with a word from Bei Hurayong.
Yeah.
Living with this crazy geezer, I wouldn't be able to feel sensitive to things. I was just thinking the world is fucked up. You saw in the boss stage just now. Whether it's our world or another world, fucked up things happen. I guess. Bei Hurayong nodded. Places where people live are probably all like that. We stood quietly like that for some time. We both looked at the remains of the mansion and shuddered. All right. Enough. Phew. Things like this don't fit me. Aside from that, Kim Gongja, you were amazing earlier. What? Using a method of your own to subjugate the boss. It was incredible. I'll compliment you. I furrowed my eyebrows. He was probably being genuine, but I got goosebumps. What's with the sudden compliments? Kid. I give compliments when there's something to compliment. This was something you overcame with not your luck, but your skill. You and I are partners, so we should be happy together. Right? I furrowed my eyebrows even more. Weird.
Nah.
What do you mean weird? Good job, Kim Gongja. You're so cool, Kim Gongja. Let's continue going for the rank 1 when the 11th floor opens. So what if they all curse you saying it's a scam? They should get a cheat skill if they feel so wronged. He laughed cheerfully. Why was he suddenly being like this? Unless the sun rose from the west, or the tower collapsed tomorrow, there was no way Bae-Hoo-ryung would be like this. It was then. Announcing to everyone. Today, the 10th floor stage has been cleared. A voice. Announcing to everyone again. It wasn't a voice that only I heard. A voice filled the sky. Today, the 10th floor stage has been cleared. A congratulatory message that signaled a new era. After 24 hours, the 11th floor stage is being opened. Whoosh! Something exploded in the sky. It was fireworks. First, a purple firework exploded, then red, blue, yellow, and all kinds of various colors decorated the sky. Ah! I blankly looked at the sky. The fireworks didn't disappear even though they exploded. They twisted and squirmed, and slowly formed a shape. Midnight. It was the shape of a clock. 23 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. And the clock of the sky started to move. Bae-Hoo-ryung and I looked at the atmosphere. Then, he muttered to himself. It's finally the start of the real show. I nodded my head.
Yeah.
I saw a fireworks show like this when I was alive. It's something I'm also seeing for the second time. But I clenched my fist. But the past me was in a first-floor bar. It was just a spectacle to watch. I didn't even know what had happened. I lost the chance and ended up staying AF class hunter my entire life, damn. The more I think about it, the more stupid I was. Hee hee. Bae-Hoo-ryung laughed. So, how does it feel being promoted from an extra to a main character? I didn't answer right away. Instead, I pulled out my phone. It was to see how the online community was reacting to this. What's this? What's the fireworks? There's fireworks on the first floor. Is it just this floor? I'm on the 3rd floor, but there's also fireworks here. As expected. The fireworks in the middle of the day were burning up the online community. Anyone hear the voice just now? I heard the 10th floor was cleared, but is that true? Did the Black Dragon Guild clear it? There wasn't any announcement. What's going on? Online posts. The next assault that the Hunters Association announced is 2 weeks later. It's not the Black Dragon. They're all in front of the cafe in front of Babylon Bank on the 1st floor. Picture attached as proof. Who cleared it? More posts. Breaking news, 10th floor cleared. Guild that cleared it hasn't been revealed yet. Breaking news, Black Dragon, no announcement of clearing. With every second, new posts were uploaded on the community. It was just one of them. All hunter communities were like this, and this fire soon spread to other communities. News agencies in Babylon frantically released one-sentence articles, and gossip sparked the fire again. Who is it if not Black Dragon? I'm praying at the 10,000 temple right now. It's crazy here. Seems like it's not the 10,000 temple either.
Yeah.
It's the Sword Saint. The Sword Saint cleared it by himself. 100%. Ah, Sword Saint can do that. At first, the fire burned individually. Some pushed for the 10,000 temple. Other places pointed at the Sword Saint. Count, Venomous Snake, Crusader, etc. All the greatest hunters were mentioned at least once. But what are you talking about? Sword Saint is drinking milk in a bar? It's not Sword Saint. Picture attached as proof. Venomous Snake was teaching training guild members. What are you talking about? Crusader working in Babylon Square. I asked myself. Sword Saint said it's not him. Wait. It doesn't make sense. This is Songyun's executive. I can't reveal my real name, but it's not Sangrian. Why isn't there a single guild saying they cleared it? What the F********. The burning communities gathered as one. With one huge question. Then who is it? Does no one know who cleared it? Who's the hunter that subjugated the 10th floor? Just who? I turned off my phone's home screen. And I decided to answer what Bei Hurayang asked me earlier. My feelings right now. From some time. I was smiling. It honestly feels great. It was something I had never felt in my entire life. But I knew what feeling this was without anyone telling me. I instinctively knew. It was the feeling of being at the top. I feel like I'm on top of the world. Right? Bei Hurayang smirked. That's nothing more than an illusion. You're not on top, and you only subjugated the 10th floor. But it's not 100% an illusion. Kim Gongja. You're closer to the top than anyone else in your world. I know. I turned my gaze. Now all that's left is to really be at the top. The stone stairs who had to pass if you wanted to challenge the Hellfire residents. There was one person running up the stairs. It was the doorkeeper that I had tricked saying I had a terminal illness. Pant, cough. Gasp. Hunter Nim. The doorkeeper was soaked in sweat. It seemed like he had run immediately over. And he stopped in front of me gasping for breath. That just now. Was it you? I don't know what you're talking about. The 10th floor clear. The doorkeeper shouted. I'm in charge today, and you were the only hunter to challenge the 10th floor today, so it's a mess right now. The Hunters Association keeps on calling me to ask what happened. I looked at the doorkeeper. Buzz. When he was talking to me, his pocket kept on vibrating. It was probably the calls. Like he said, he seemed like the entire tower was panicked. I smiled. What are you going to do about it if I really cleared it? Excuse me? I asked what you're going to do if I'm really the hunter who cleared the 10th floor. That's... The doorkeeper had a flustered face. I wasn't able to check your ID, so I would do it now.
Nah.
Doorkeeper Nim. That's strange. It wasn't that you couldn't check my ID. You even took 100 gold from me. That's... You go through a lot working. I softly pat his shoulder. He looked at me with a disoriented face. And I passed him to head down the stone stairs. I heard a desperate shout from behind me. Please wait a moment. Hunter Nim. Even your nickname is all right. Please at least tell me your nickname before you leave. Or else I'll be beat up by my association seniors. I answered without looking back. I don't have a nickname. Work hard. And don't follow me. Or I'll really run away. Thankfully, the doorkeeper didn't follow after me. Even if he did, it didn't matter. I could easily lose him since he was tired from the stairs. Hey. His face is a sight to see. It's like he saw a ghost. Bei Hurayang snickered looking behind him. Anyways, good job. That's how you raise the value of your name. Yup. You have to make people find you. Even without you telling. Sword Emperor. Huh? What? I stood in front of the transmission stone that was in front of the 10th floor entrance. I realized. Realized what? Why you suddenly complimented me. I reserved the one heading down to the first floor and spoke. The bet. Bei Hurayong paused. I remembered. You promised to call me Gongnim if I cleared the boss in 2 coins, right? Wow, what are you gonna do now? I really did it in 2 coins. Our Sword Emperor Nim is in big trouble. Hey. Gongja, but we're partners, isn't that a bit wrong? Bei Hurayong pleaded with a face that was about to cry. Think about it. Partners have equal standing. You and me. Equal standing. Someone who dominated up to the 99th floor and someone who'll challenge the 100th floor. Hey, partner. Friend. How beautiful is that? I brightly smiled. All right. Now call me Gongnim when you talk to me. Forever. It was then, when Bei Hurayong's face fell in despair. Mumble mumble. So who subjugated the 10th floor for real? I've been watching the news but there's nothing. Only gossip. Isn't the Black Dragon hiding it on purpose? And they'll do a big reveal. I said it's the Sword Saint for sure. In the city of the tower's first floor, people were hectic. People were happy that the difficult 10th floor was finally cleared. But they were all gathered in cafes to discuss who the secret challenger was. How would they react? If they knew that person himself was sitting right next to them. It's sweet. I sipped my caramel macchiato. This cafe across Sangrian was the only Starbucks in Babylon. I admired that fact that even though you couldn't leave the tower once you entered it, there were still franchises. And there was even the franchise with the red-nosed chubby old man as the mascot. The desire of humans. What do you think, Sword Emperor? Isn't victory sweet? Actually, I feel like even an espresso will taste sweet right now. Is this earphone broken? That's weird. There's no reply. I tapped the earphone in my ear. Of course, there wasn't any sound coming from it. It was a simple trick of the eye. I would seem like a crazy person if I just spoke to myself, so I pretended like I was calling someone. It actually worked quite well. No one in the cafe looked at me like I was weird. Sword Emperor Nim? Sword Emperor? Excuse me, Mr. Psychopath. Excuse me, Mr. Crazy Guy? What? Now I can hear you. I thought you were deaf now. TSK, you made the superior Gongnim worry. Humans shouldn't do that. Right. You're a ghost, not a human. I'm stupid, so I forgot. Oh right. Sword Emperor. Can I speak informally to you now? It's weird if I speak formally to you when you call me Gongnim. Right? Fuck. Floating opposite of me, Bei Hurayong's shoulders shook. I've never experienced this humiliation in my entire life, Emperor. How could someone who was called an emperor become like this?
Nah.
It was just a joke. Even if I'm called Gongnim, I couldn't speak informally to such a senior. Although I could. I can. I'll just call you Sword Emperor Nim from now on. How's that? Satisfied? Just kill me instead. Bei Hurayong cried out. Get a new skill and replace the sword constellation slot. You can do that, you son of a bitch. Just kill me.
Oh no.
This person's saying things he shouldn't. Aren't we partners, partner? Forever friends. Best friends. Who in the world would kill their best friend? From now on, we'll be together forever. Sob, sob, sob. Whatever, I'm just not gonna say anything. Grandpops Marcus. I wanna go back to Grandpops.
Ah.
It was sweet. I looked up at the sky sipping my coffee. 22 hours 32 minutes and 50 seconds. The clock in the sky showed that an hour had passed. Just when I was thinking it was time for it to show up. Meow. A brown cat crawled up to me. It was too clean to be a stray. If there was something special about it, it was that there were 2 gold pieces on its neck instead of a bell. Gulp. I wondered how I should deal with this situation. Gold piece cat. Gold piece cat. It's a really famous.
Ah.
People wouldn't know about it now. This cat wasn't a normal pet. It would be a well-known mascot of the tower about 5 years later. I didn't know such a bigwig would come to me. I supposed I should pretend like I didn't know anything. I calmly looked down at the cat, controlling my face. Are you lost? Meow. The brown cat rubbed its head on my legs. I was a bit dumbfounded. If I didn't know its real identity, I would just think it was a friendly cat. Do you want to stay with me until your owner comes? Moo. I lifted the cat onto my laps. The cat calmly licked its paws in my lap like that's what it wanted the entire time. It even yawned with a meow. I can't believe it's a person crazy for cats. The acting is incredible. I rubbed the cat's head. Moo. As I was listening to the cat purr, a group of hunters came towards me. One of them spoke to me. Excuse me. Is your name Kim Gongja? Just by a glance I could tell their equipment was expensive. They weren't just a ragtag bunch. If not guild masters, at least executives. A group of those kinds of people were gathered around the cafe. I showed my ID to them. I wondered how long it would take. It took exactly 1 hour and 30 minutes, I see. The hunters' eyes shook upon seeing my ID. They frantically pulled their phones out and started to contact others. Yes. I found him. In the cafe right across the bank. No. Other guilds are also here, yes. Yes, sir. Understood, boss. Don't worry. I won't have him taken by other guilds. It was the eve of a storm. I contentedly watched what was happening in front of me. I feel like I'm a VIP. Well. Most guilds will try to scout you. You cleared the 10th floor by yourself. That's a real VIP. I guess. Even a person who cleared the 99th floor calls me Gongnim, so it would be weird if I wasn't a VIP. Fuck. Fuck. The hunters ended their calls one by one. And they all looked at me with nervous faces. As I waited for the first guild to speak up, a large blonde hunter took a step forward. I am the HR team leader of the Civil Militia Guild. Kim Gongja Hunter Nim. As you may already know, the Civil Militia is the most honorable guild in Babylon. If you enter our guild... Just a moment. I lifted my hand. The HR team leader of Civil Militia paused. Sorry for cutting you off. But let's speak after 2 things are clearly established. First, let's not leak anything to the media. I slowly looked at the hunters. I could guarantee that none of these hunters would be a lower rank than me. Before I regressed, I wouldn't even have dared to look at them. But now, I didn't fall short to any of them. My performance. I had the achievement of being the first person to subjugate the 10th floor. This was like a landmark that no hunter could destroy regardless of their level. Competent hunters considered performance important. If they were competent, they wouldn't be able to treat me like I was nothing. I won't sign a contract with any guild that leaks my name to the public. I won't even associate with them. Please be aware. You, until when? Another hunt raised their hand to ask. The golden newspaper reporters are sticking their noses into all the guilds, Kim Gongnim. I don't know how long we'll be able to hide this. Well, I'm not saying to hide this forever. I pointed at the sky. The hunters all looked up at the sky too. 22 hours 25 minutes and 31 seconds. Just until today. Until the clock reaches midnight, please keep the ban. All right. Somehow until then, understood. The hunters all sighed in relief. I smiled. I can't be held up by reporters. Not when I have to run as fast I can to the 11th floor when it opens. I opened my mouth again. That's the first condition. And for the second dash. The hunters all looked at me with stiff expressions. They were probably nervous about what difficult condition I would request. I grinned and looked around me. This is a public area, so let's respect the other customers. Pardon? Can't you see the customers looking this way? They're surprised because you all suddenly gathered here. I was right. All the other customers were looking this way. Most of the customers whispered to each other with suspicious eyes. There was even a customer who looked like they were filming this. It's a nuisance. I know you were all rushed looking for me, but let's take it slow. It's not like I'll run away. Sorry. The hunters realized the environment and dispersed. I'm sorry. I can't tell you the reason, but if you could move. Sir. How much would it cost to rent this cafe for 1 hour? Everyone, thank you for your understanding. If you come to Chenmumun sometime, we'll. The scale of the large clan's executives was definitely different. It took 5 minutes for them to make everyone leave and rent to the cafe from the owner. The cafe was empty after only 5 minutes. All right. We entered a corner of the cafe and started to speak. Then let's start the negotiations. State your conditions. Funnily, they all had a cup of coffee in their hands. It was because I said they were being a nuisance. How cute. Our civil militia offers 10,000 gold for the contract fee. That was the starting point. 10,000 gold? Dang. You're showing you're poor in a place like this. Kim Gongja Hunter Nim. Please sign up with the Adventure League. We promise 20,000 gold and an executive position. Come to Chenmumun, Hunter Nim. Our guild grows combat-specific hunters and will take you in as a trainer with 25,000 gold. The position of a trainer is just annoying. Please think well. Kim Gongja Hunter Nim. If you come into our 10,000 temple, we guarantee an honorary position. To be honest, we hope you promote our clan. With 30,000 gold and a separate pay for other jobs. Association. Please work as an ambassador for the association. It was a mess. The HR team leaders all pleaded with me. I understood how they felt. All the high guilds probably felt pressured by Sword Saint. The lone hunter who didn't register in any of the guilds who was rank 1. Because of that, people probably wondered if there was really a need to register in a guild. If solo play was the best option. Although it's because Sword Saint is special. It still hurt the reputation of the guilds. And if a new hero that was as famous as the Sword Saint was born? I smiled. They would do anything to scout him. At the very least, block other guilds from taking him. Was probably the orders that these team leaders got. It was obvious. See, civil militia can give 36,000 gold as the contract fee. Sheesh. The poor guild should step back. Are you trying to fight us with thousands? Don't you understand the situation? Us Alchemy Castle can. It was then. Sangrian. A heavy voice came from somewhere. 50,000 gold. The hunters all turned their heads. Their gazes landed on my lap. To be exact, it was the cat on my lap. The cat meowed and jumped up. Its feet were soft paws when it jumped off my lap, but when it landed, that wasn't the case. They lightly landed with shoes. 50,000 gold. I can give it to you here if you prefer. The person looked back. Clang. The 2 gold pieces on their necklace made a clear sound as they shook. And the spot of Sangrian's vice leader position. Hunter rank 3. The guild master of the Merchants Association. Count. 50,000 gold and vice guild leader. How's that? A woman with the skill of a metamorphosis brightly smiled and spoke. Although she was probably over 40, she looked to be in her 20s. She was probably drinking elixirs every day. She was the wealthiest person in the tower. A bigwig that I wouldn't have met in the past. I forced myself to calm down and smiled. Now we're talking. The first step of negotiating for my body ended. You got guts. Count slightly lifted a corner of her mouth. And you don't seem to be that surprised that a cat turned into a human. You're not like young folks these days. This is a compliment. Thank you. I do have guts. I even see ghosts and stuff. You're even relaxed enough to joke. Amazing. Count started to wave her fan and laughed. Even though he didn't say that as a joke. The hunters all peeked at each other. Only the Count laughed. The team leaders who had been loudly shouting prices became quiet as mice with the arrival of the Count. Ma'am. Pardon me, but... The large blonde hunter carefully spoke up. Pardon yourself. Isn't 50,000 gold and the Vice Guild Master too much? Oh, of course, subjugating the 10th floor is amazing. But the skills of Kim Gongja are not known. As he went on, he stuttered more. It was because he suddenly forgot how to speak. The Count was covering her mouth with her fan and looking at him. She smiled with her eyes past the fan. Are you done pardoning? Yes. Then before you pardon yourself more, bring your bosses. Sorry, you guys won't understand me. It doesn't matter if you can bet higher than 50,000 gold. Just sit here comfortably. She was politely telling them to piss off. And since they were being told to piss off, there was nothing else they could do. They left one by one. And after 10 minutes, like they handed the baton over to someone else, new hunters entered the cafe. Fucking Sangrian. Rank 5. Venomous Snake, Guild Master of Chenmumun. I'm a step behind. I admit it's our mistake. Rank 4. Guild Master of 10,000 Temple, Heretic Questioner. Mistake isn't the right word. Our job isn't to welcome a new hero, but to stop the existing hunters from being confused. You were too excessive. Rank 8. Vice Guild Master of Civil Militia, Crusader. Rank 2. And even the guild master of Black Dragon, Black Witch. Wow. I exclaimed to myself. They're all assembled. I was proud of myself. They were the highest rankers that I only saw in interview videos and such. They all sat down in front of me. I was able to realize how much more expensive my body was now. Welcome. Count cupped her chin and laughed. I don't know how long it's been since we gathered like this. It feels like yesterday when we subjugated the second floor together. Now we're all old. Sangrian. Tien, an extra S on Sangrian sounds like bitch in Korean. Before I boil you in soup, shut up. Venomous snake growled. Chin Mumun's guild master, the one-eyed hunter. The person known to be the one to successfully clear the second floor had an eye patch on his eye. They said it was a scar after challenging Sword Saint. I heard on the way here. What? 50,000 gold. Vice Guild Master? You always cosplay a beast and even your IQ's been reduced to a beast's? The 50,000 gold I could understand since that's Sangrian's specialty, throwing money around, but Vice Guild Master my ass. All right. Let's order coffee. Heretic Questioner spoke brightly. It's rude to enter a cafe and not even order. Should the people who lead the greatest clans in the tower be like this? I'll order a cafe mocha. Everyone?
Ah.
I'd like a warm Americano. A cool cafe latte sounds nice. Hazelnut latte. Hot. Additional shots. Grande. The guild masters spoke one by one like they had been waiting. The only person to be surprised was Venomous Snake. What? Coffee? Hey. The world's been turned upside down because the 10th floor was cleared, and coffee goes down your throats? Are these bastards suckers for caffeine or? Chin Mumun would like a dark espresso, I see. Understood. This fucking religious guy. Store owner Nim. Please take our orders. Heretic Questioner ignored the Venomous Snake and shouted. Flinch. The barista at the counter trembled. She became pale at the fact that she would be making coffee for the highest rankers. Would you like to order? Yes. Heretic Questioner beamed. The guild master of 10,000 Temple. The blonde hunter. The young man who was in charge of making sure religious fights didn't occur in this place where people from all over the tower were gathered was famous for speaking formally to everyone. I heard he even spoke politely to terrorists he questioned. One tall iced cafe mocha. One tall warm Americano. One tall iced cafe latte. One grande warm hazelnut latte with a shot. And one espresso. That's my order, 1 inch. Yes. Yes. Right dash. Heretic Questioner turned his gaze. What would Hunter Kim Gongnim like? All kinds of gazes landed on me. The table instantly became quiet. An amused gaze. A bright gaze. A violent gaze. A cold gaze. An indifferent gaze. 5 faces and 10 eyeballs silently looked at me. Like they were testing my reaction. Don't be scared. Then, Beihurayam, who had been quiet all this time, spoke up. They're not much. Just think that they're not that much. You were even killed by Grandpops Marcus. None of them are better than Grandpops. I know. I knew well. It's just a mind game. And it was a twisted, tricky mind game. I shrugged my shoulders. Store owner Nim. Do you have a menu? Sorry. Maybe because I have a macchiato earlier, I don't really feel coffee right now. I want to decide after seeing a menu, Never mind. Please give me a hot chocolate if you have one. All right. Composure. I had to show a composed attitude right now. These people didn't randomly come here at once. Earlier, when the team leaders came, and now, the hunters all arrived at the same time. Was this a coincidence? Never. A strategy hidden behind coincidence. They were acting. This is a strategy to make me lose my composure. It was a high-class strategy, kind of like how gangsters ganged up on one person to threaten them. Well, even if they're a bit more scarier than hunters. It was a frozen and tense atmosphere. It's nothing compared to being burned alive. In other words, it was just a little ice. Before I was killed by the Flame Emperor, I would have trembled in fear seeing these people, but not anymore. I wasn't scared at all. The reason was ridiculously simple. Try to kill me if you want. Even if they killed me, I would be fine. Bei Hurayong nodded his head.
Yeah.
Like I said. That talent is your strength. Glare at them like they can try to kill you if they want. Put power behind your eyes. Like these losers who can't even kill you are acting tough. Thanks for the support. But I'm not going to let you off the hook. This damned. Bei Hurayong grabbed his head in despair. On the other hand, the heretic questioner's expression changed. Interesting. It seems like you didn't do much before subjugating the 10th floor. A sudden change, I guess you can't tell what's gonna happen to anyone. He did do something. The Count covered her mouth with her fan and smiled with her eyes. That youngster was chosen as my guild's lottery winner. He's got luck. And guts. And I don't know how, but seeing as he cleared the 10th floor, he's got skills. Luck. Guts. Skills. If a youngster has those three, they'll succeed.
Ha!
So that's why I said earlier. Venomous Snake sighed from across the table. Don't do this and that and just scout him. Would the person who cracked the 10th floor be a newbie who doesn't know anything? TSK. We put on an act even though it didn't work. That's not important. The guild master of Black Dragon, who had been sitting quietly, stood up. Just because some of our reputations were hurt doesn't mean all of ours were. We're all busy. Let's push back blaming others. Grunt. Hunter Kim Gongja. The witch looked at me. I'll ask directly. Which guild are you planning on signing up for? A steady gaze. If you're planning on not registering in any guild like the Sword Saint, let us know in advance. We have to discuss how to handle the media if that happens. And if I'm planning on applying? An intense auction will start. The witch calmly spoke. We've stayed too long on the 9th floor. It was just tough. But since you cleared the 10th floor, the chance to advertise the value of the tower to the outside world has come again. A chance, you say? Yes. Chance. A chance to bring people from the outside who aren't just war refugees. The barista brought a tray over and served coffee. No one spoke. The witch just took a sip of her hazelnut latte. And most of all, the hunters who were living comfortably on the 1st floor will have a renewed sense of adventure with the 10th floor open. What kind of world will be waiting there? Even the realists will wonder. The shortage of food will be solved. The witch looked at me like she didn't expect what I said. You're quick to understand. That's right. It's hard to manage the supply of food with just 9 floors. I've been opening a pathway from the outside world to here 24/7. The Count smiled. I'm not as strong as I used to be. It's a bit tiring with my age. We need a new product. The witch continued to speak. We need to bring adventurers to the land beyond the 10th floor. And we need to find things that can only be found past the 10th floor. Then we need a way to positively appeal to the outside world. Something like, start of a new era. And you're saying that's me, right? Right. Exactly on point. They were all things that would happen in the future. That was also the reason why the guild masters couldn't touch the Flame Emperor. To be a hero. Being the new icon of the new era. It was because for the tower to keep growing, there needed to be new heroes. But the Black Dragon still tried to assassinate the Flame Emperor. I thought of the conversation I overheard in the slums. Who ordered you to kill me? Just answer that. Was it the Witch of Black Dragon? The Saintess had nodded her head back then. If she was telling the truth, then the witch in front of me had tried to poison the Flame Emperor. I couldn't know the reason why now, but we'll get along. Why? Someone who hated the Flame Emperor can't be a bad person. Like the enemy of my enemy was my friend. I felt a camaraderie with her. I understand what you're saying. You're saying the guild that successfully catches me can be the new symbol of the tower's growth. And other guilds will probably have to act as lackeys.
Yeah.
I'll feel bad if that happens, so let's do this. The hunters focused on my words. I pulled out the trump card I had. A trump card? The witch tilted her head. Are you saying we should choose by playing a game? The guild you'll be in? Yes. I'll join the guild of the winner. I don't even need a position or contract fee. However, I grinned. If I win, I'll apply simultaneously to all your guilds. I'll only be a guild member on the outside. In reality, you have to treat me like I'm on the same level as you all. And you can sell my image, so it's good for you. I'll be on the same level as the leaders of all the greatest guilds. How's that sound? At that moment, the eyes of the guild masters changed. Count burst out in laughter. A youngster who just subjugated a single floor wants to be treated like us. Yes. If I win. Amusing. I'm fine with that. The Count put her coffee down and looked around. What about you guys? As long as there's no tricks, I'm fine as well. The heretic questioner agreed first. Let's not use our skills. Then you all have the advantage. If you get caught using your skill, that person's automatically disqualified. Next was the venomous snake. Our guild is poor anyway, so if we bid on you we'll lose. Even if I lose the game, I won't lose anything else, and if I win, I'll gain a lot. Sounds good. And the Crusader agreed. Lastly, the witch nodded her head. Fine. I'll accept your suggestion. The gamble was on. We decided the rules of poker. The rules itself were simple. The highest rankers neatly checked whether there were any tricks on the cards. Sword Emperor. And when the cards were distributed. You don't really want to call me Gongnim, right? I called out to Bei Hurayong, who was still in despair. Let's do this. Do what? Just call me that until the end of this game. Bei Hurayong's eyes widened. Can I really do that? Yes. Of course. I grinned. Instead, you have to tell me what cards each of these players are holding. Yes. Yes. All right. Bei Hurayong jumped up and down. That's fucking easy. As expected of Gong Nim. Look at this generous guy. I don't know how someone can be this nice. You want to know what cards these bastards have? Yup, don't worry. I'll even tell you if they're cheating or not. Sir. All right. Time to begin. Gong Nim. This is a straight. Kill him. Die. Ah. Gong Nim. He's bluffing. Ah, you poor thing. Call him out and kill him. Call. Dang. He has the same cards as Gong Nim. But what can we do? Gong Nim's 2 pairs are the highest? Hee. This is fun. Let's keep on going until we die, Gong Nim. Raise. Wow. He's trying to get a full house? Gong Nim. Don't worry. I just looked under the table to see the cards. He won't get a full house. Trust me, and go. All in. About 30 rounds of poker continued. The guy opposite of me trembled. Venomous snake. The one-eyed hunter was burning up. Shit. This is a scam. The venomous snake burst up. Boom. The table shook. Other hunters raised their cups like they expected this. Fortunately, we were able to avoid spilt coffee. Good timing. It doesn't make sense. It's already been 30 rounds, but this guy hasn't lost once. Even bluffing doesn't work. This is a scam. I don't know if it's passive, but he's using a fucking skill. It's a scam. A scam. Do you have proof? I sipped my hot chocolate. It was cold now, and became a weak chocolate latte. This was tasty in itself as well. I might be an expert at poker. I'll feel wronged if you accuse me like this without any proof. Look upon me nicely, Sunbi Nim. Tien, Sunbi term for addressing someone with more experience than you in a particular subject. Hey, is this really AF Class Hunter? The venomous hunter shouted while looking around him. How is this AF Class Hunter? I'll believe it if you say the association lied about it after taking some side money. He's at least AB class. Wow. How'd you know? That I'm not AF class? Right? I knew Actually, I became an E-class hunter yesterday. But I was busy clearing the 10th floor yesterday and I wasn't able to let the association know. I smiled. Thank you for judging me so highly. And Mr. Master. You're out of chips. The venomous snake turned away and plodded away. To the out zone. It was where the people without any more chips sat. Welcome. Chenmu Master. Heretic questioner, who had been out first, brightly smiled. I thought it was about time for you to be out. So I ordered another espresso. You don't need to refuse. Drink as much as you want. I don't like espresso. Yes. I know. Being picky is bad. Fucking zealot. The venomous snake sat down in the out zone looking like he was gonna cry. Now, there were 3 hunters left in the game. Me. The Witch of Black Dragon. And unexpectedly, Crusader. Crusader looked down at her cards and wrinkled her forehead. She was the vice leader of the civil militia. A hunter famed for her righteousness. The civil militia was a guild established to protect the capital of the first floor. They were like the police. And I heard she donated all his wealth to an orphanage or something. Tien, I thought Crusader was a guy, but we learned she's a girl in this chapter. Korean, TSK. I lose. Crusader placed her cards down with a sigh. I thought I had a pretty good poker face. Kim Gongja. Do you have a clairvoyant skill? Maybe. It could be clairvoyance or telepathy. Try guessing. Newbies these days. The crusader smiled bitterly. She bowed and moved to the outzone. Hey! How could you give up so easily? The venomous snake shouted in anger at her. The surroundings of his mouth were messy, like he spilled his espresso. You should stick next to him like a hunting dog even if you think it's not gonna work. Are you gonna leave that con artist be? Con artist. That's too much to the new hero. He's obviously using a skill. Crusader shrugged her shoulders. I knew from the beginning. Huh? What? It would have been weird if I didn't know. Would a newbie really suggest a game of luck without any preparation? The fact that he challenged us to this game means that he was letting us know he could use a skill and get away with it without being caught. And we accepted that challenge. The venomous snake gaped with his mouth open. That's how it was? Chenmu Master, it's good that you work hard for martial arts, but use your head. Crusader looked at the venomous snake pitifully. From the beginning, we had nothing to lose. If we win, it would be awesome. But even if we lose, like the newbie said, he's going to apply to all the guilds here. And that's a pretty good result in itself. But we have our pride. How are we gonna be treated the same as? Does pride feed you? The venomous snake was left speechless. Espresso feeds you. Here, Chenmu Master. Drink up. Fuck. In the end, the rank 2 player was left, the Black Witch. And me. It was us too. The witch focused on her cards and spoke. It's a relief. What? Since you can get us. The witch bet her chips. Raise. She raised the bar. Was she trying to provoke me? I'm from Ukraine. To be exact, I'm from where Ukraine used to be. With the war, after I lost my family, I suffered a lot. As you know, a woman living alone outside or in this tower is tough. I suppose so. I gladly accepted her provocation. Re-raise. I raised the stakes. She hesitated for a moment and tapped the table twice. It was that she was accepting victory. The count spread the cards out as the dealer. So what are you trying to say? I rubbed my chin, pretending to contemplate. Everyone in the tower. And especially the first generation. It's hard to find someone who doesn't have a heartbreaking story. I'm an ordinary orphan as well. My cards was one pair. This top is like my hometown. Hers were a flush. In the tower, people don't ask where you're from. No, we made it so it was like this. The fact that I'm from Ukraine. That Chenmu Master's from China. That you're from Korea, that isn't important in our tower. Is that so? Yes. Thanks to the blessing of the tower, we can understand each other. Here, we're all equal. At least, more than the outside world. If this went on, I would lose. But I raised the stakes higher composedly. People outside consider here a trash can. Even roses bloom in trash cans. The witch signaled a call. Kim Gongja. The moment the clock in the sky shows midnight, the media will pour out articles about you. You'll start a life different from before. I hope you deal with it wisely. Sounds good. Another card was flipped over on the table. I'm not bragging, but I like attention. I like it when people compliment me and are jealous of me. It's the truth. That's all there is to it. Now my cards were 2 pair. You're honest. I guess you're the exact opposite of Sword Saint. Her cards were still a flush. I had the shorter hand, but all in. I'm confident. I lifted my eyes from the card to look at her. I'll tell you all now while we're on the subject. I don't want to be treated like you because I just cleared the 10th floor, the 20th floor, 30th, 40th, 50th, and the 100th. I'll subjugate them all, no matter how long it takes. I know you consider the tower special. I respect that. I don't plan on uselessly fighting with all of you. But I think of you as my opponents. Who would be the first to climb the tower? Who would be called a hero? To be remembered by people, to be complimented, to receive jealousy. To build the gold tower that everyone saw. I want to see the world beyond the tower rather than within the tower. So I was going to climb the tower. Refugees. Famine. I don't have time to worry about that. Honestly. If you need my name, just use it. However many times you want. Just support me in climbing the tower. The feeling of subjugating the tower. I wanted to feel it again. I had only tasted it once, but I felt like I was addicted to it. Because that's how amazing it was. Sight. The witch sighed after a silence. I thought wrong. You're not the opposite of the Sword Saint, but exactly the same. The witch pushed all the chips in. Clatter. They all gathered in the center of the table like a small mountain. All in. Is that a compliment? No, it's a curse. Greedy people. The last card was flipped. The opponent cards were a flush. Mine were full house. It's a compliment. I smiled. Thank you. It was my victory. Then, as promised, I hope I'm treated the same as the rest of you. Can I expect that the more authority you have, the more jobs you'll have? Isn't the job of a hunter to climb the tower? Don't worry. I'll continue doing the job of a hunter. A lazy newbie. The witch bitterly smiled. Kim Zombie is a bit lazy. If there was a skill for laziness, he would have reached S class. Are you really going back to Kim Zombie as soon as the game ended? Of course, you mutant zombie. Gongnim my ass. Bei Hurayung flew around in excitement. Zombie. Zombie. Zombie bastard. Wow, I didn't know I would miss this so much. I'm never gonna bet with you lazy ass again. Pathetic. How was the person that was called the Emperor of the Sword this pathetic? I inwardly clicked my tongue and stood up. You're leaving already? Yes. The 11th floor is opening soon. I have to get ready now if I don't want to be behind others. How are you gonna prepare if you don't know what's on it? It wouldn't be bad to give them a hint here. Since I was going to be treated like them, it wouldn't be bad if they were in my debt a bit. I organized my thoughts and spoke up. It's a play. The theme of the 11th to the 20th floor is play. Everyone looked at me with flashing eyes. It was obvious why. With even the smallest hint, you could move faster than others. The information I was giving them right now was priceless. They gave me a hint as a reward for clearing the 10th floor. It was a lie. I still hadn't gotten my reward for the 10th floor yet. I guessed I would get it when the clock hit midnight. But I still knew what would happen now. Knowledge of the future. There was no reason not to use it. I don't know any more than that. Thanks for sharing. The witch nodded her head. I'll definitely return this favor. I was looking forward to it. The clock in the sky pointed at 0. 0. The players were all overjoyed. There were people who even threw their hats in the air. Thousands of hats soared up. They looked like flowers in spring. And before all the hats fell down to the floor, letting everyone know, a voice rang out in the sky. It was announcing something to everyone. From today, the tutorial is being ended. That the prologue was now finished. Letting everyone know again. From today, the tutorial is being ended. That it was now the start of the real thing. Woo!
Whoo!
People shouted in excitement. Passion. Heat. Enthusiasm. When was the last time hunters were this heated up? Even the old man who set up a store and the middle-aged man who gave up on the second floor were shouted in happiness in the square. Everyone was a hunter at this moment. 11th floor. 11th floor. 11th floor. Open the 11th floor. Hey, news just came up but this. And as if responding to their heat, the clock in the sky exploded with light. It was a light as powerful as the sun. The hunters shut their eyes and looked at the sky through their fingers. I wasn't an exception. Warriors. Climbers of the tower. Congratulations on the crossing over the regrets of the Hellfire residents. There was a large human in the air. So, an angel or goddess would be more appropriate. The was emitting a holy light, white clothes fluttering in the air. It was like something that should be engraved on a temple. Whoa! Pretty. Everyone in the square let out exclamations. Most hunters were staring blankly up. That was how beautiful the image of the goddess was. Zombie. Wake up. That's not a real goddess. But Beihurayon was cold. Sword Emperor. The one who had cleared up to the 99th floor was seduced by what was in front of him. It's just a system that explains quests to you. Is it like an NPC? Right. Even if there are goddesses, that's nothing more than a recorded video. It's something that automatically plays when the 10th floor is cleared. TSK TSK. How pathetic. I became curious. How do you know that? Because. It was when Beihurayon was about to reply. Warriors. There is a world that needs your help. In this world, there is a scary devil king. From now, you will be summoned as warriors to this place, and you will receive a mission to protect mankind. If you want to accept this mission, say, transmit. Because she finished, someone jumped into the air. Hup. The hunter lightly stepped on the roof of the building. The 3rd floor. 5th floor. 7th floor. In an instant, the hunter arrived at the bell tower of the square. And the hunter flew high midair. Sword Saint. Marcus Callenberry. Hot. The current rank 1 sword technique split the sky. The trajectory of his sword cut past the goddess. The image of the goddess was split into 2. It was a beautiful and quick attack. Everyone who had seen the blink of an eye attack dropped their mouths. Ha. And that only lasted a moment. The split goddess quickly returned. Like how cutting through the ocean was futile, the goddess spoke in the same beautiful voice before. If you want to accept this mission, say, transmit. Warriors. Then, you'll take your steps on the 11th floor. The goddess was still shining. She had light, but it wasn't holy anymore. Since a god ripped once wasn't a god anymore. Sword Saint lightly landed on a roof. He was wearing the same black suit that I saw in the bar. He looked at the sky like he didn't like something, and slowly looked down at the square. The square was silent. Bei Hurayong spoke. I did that in the past too. See? NPC, right? I was flabbergasted. Do you have to check to be satisfied?
Yeah.
I don't get people who don't check. Don't you want to cut it with your sword when something big appears? Aren't all people like that? Sigh. He was a psycho. I strengthened my vision with aura and looked at the sword saint. Careful not to meet his eyes. Transmit. The sword saint quietly mumbled. The same like from the goddess wrapped around the old sword saint. A moment later, he was gone without a trace. Only white bird poop was left on the roof. Ahahahot. Laughter exploded from the silent tower. The hunters turned their heads. It was from the guild master of 10,000 temple, heretic questioner. I lost again. It's a beautiful day today. The heretic questioner took off his cap. He politely bowed to the people looking at him. Then I'll see everyone on the 11th floor. Transmit. A white light covered the heretic questioner. The next moment, the heretic questioner was gone. Looking at his disappearance blankly, the hunters realized belatedly that the sword saint and heretic questioner had taken a step ahead of them to the 11th floor. And that was the starting point. Transmit. 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 Countless hunters shouted out transmit frantically. The square was filled with light. Every time someone shouted, light poured to where they were. These lights increased in the thousands and lit up the sky. Warriors. Climbers of the tower. In the midst of that, the goddess's welcoming was still going on. From the 11th floor to the 20th floor, you will be met with a test. A test of faith. The goddess gathered her hands on her chest. Like she was praying. You will find your answer. Someone will light the way. So you will be able to know yourself. But there weren't many listening to her. Everyone was in a hurry not to be behind. The small amount of people that were left were filming it with their phones. What a shame. Someone walked up next to me and muttered. The vice guild leader of the civil militia. It was the crusader. A shame? Think about it. Whoever made the tower put effort into making it. That's also a message for us. But no one cares. The crusader had a sad expression. People should have looked at this emotionally. The fact that there's a tower and we can use skills is an amazing miracle, but we've become used to everything on the 10th floor. You're a touchy-feely person. I majored in music on the outside. She lifted a corner of her mouth. Do I seem more charming after hearing I'm a woman who did music? I think it'll be hard to earn money. Oof. You hurt with facts. We both laughed. Bei Hurayong crept between us. Zombie, be careful. This human is suspicious. What again? There's no way someone would approach someone like you. Do you have a handsome face or personality? Everything's disgusting. Kia, I see. This is a con artist. 100%. This guy, never mind. Let's just not. Excuse me. Then, a crowd of people came at us. They weren't reporters, but seemed to be people doing their own broadcasting online. The hunter there is Kim Gong.
Ha!
Hunter Nim, right? Oops. The crusader grimaced in annoyance. I guess the attention's on us 'cause of me. Sorry, Kim Gongja. I'll be off for the 11th floor. Wait. Did you approach me to do this? I became reasonably suspicious. And the crusader looked a bit guilty. It's because I have the ability to read people. The ability to read people? Did she mean she was confident in guessing what someone was thinking? She mischievously scratched the back of her head. I spoke with you because I wanted to know what kind of person you were. Think of it as a show of my interest. So what kind of person do you think I am? Well, I'll say the answers in your heart. Transmit. Goodness. She's obviously running away. Eventually Crusader left, leaving me to the crowd. Phew. See, I'm right, huh? My greatness is never wrong. Shit. It's noisy. People crowded more around me when the Crusader left. I was surrounded by individual broadcasters and reporters. Kim Gongja Hunter Nim. Please say something. Is it true that you cleared the 10th floor boss yourself? People are saying this is a scenario you plan to apply at the same time to all the large guilds. There was an official announcement that you were E-class. Many people are very curious if this is true. Can you just confirm? What kind of relationship are you in with the Crusader of the Civil Militia? You looked really close. Are you deeply involved personally? Kim Gongja Hunter Nim. Wow. Is this the unending request for shaking hands that only the successful hunters get? Being on the receiving end, I realized why Flame Emperor had been so annoyed with the reporters. I wondered how I should react and decided to say just one word. I'll clear the 20th floor as well. Excuse me? Then, work hard everyone. Transmit. Whoosh. White light came from under me. Wait. King Gongja Hunter Nim. No. Get him. Just a few more dash. Sorry. I think the mysterious concept is the best. Climbers of the tower. And before the light completely covered me, the goddess's voice spoke for the last time to the square. May luck be with you. The light around me faded away. I could start seeing in front of me. What came into my sight first was a large battlefield. KRRRK. Chike. Chick. Monster. Fearsome monsters were running towards me from the horizon. Goblin. Orcs. Ogres. The different species that I saw from the 10th floor in the tutorial were running at me as one. They looked like a horde of ants. Stop them. It's impossible. There's too many. Don't step back. If we're pushed back, our empire is over. There was only one line to block the horde. Was this from the Middle Ages? The soldiers wearing armor were trying to somehow close the port. The human soldiers tried to put the deep lake behind them. What is this? What in the world is happening? Whoa! Everyone, be careful of the arrows. They're flying around everywhere. Hunters summoned to the battlefield were looking around in confusion. It wasn't weird for them to be so dumbfounded, since they had only experienced safely prepared hunting grounds so far. But this was common from the 10th floor. Like they said, the tutorial's over. A battlefield where you didn't know when you would die. A fighting ring where you had to risk your life with every floor. Oh ho! Someone approached the flustered hunters. He was wearing quite fancy armor, like he wasn't just a soldier. The general shouted out to us. Thank you. You've come to help our empire, warriors. The hunters murmured. Warriors? What does he mean? Stupid. Didn't you hear what the angel said in the square? They're receiving the attack of the Devil King. We're the warriors. We can't hear in the back. Whoa, is this real? Are those soldiers real humans or NPC? Can you be quiet over there? People kept on arriving even while the hunters were speaking to each other. People came on top of each other and pushed others. It was pandemonium. Warriors, please help our empire. Fortunately, a few skilled people including me knew how to use their aura to strengthen their sight and hearing. While a few non-skilled people were just staring blankly ahead, a few hunters listened to what the general NPC was saying. This port is the last defense of our empire. For the empire's capital to continue being supported, we need to defend this place. Warriors from another world, please protect Ejim Empire with us. Then, a voice rang in my head. The quest of the 11th floor is being given. Messages popped up in front of my eyes. Supply route defense. Difficulty, FA. Mission task, calamity has struck the Ejim Empire. The Devil King, a being only seen in legends, has forced an army. The Devil King is cunning, evil, and strong. He wishes to block the Ejim Empire's supply route. Defend the port. This fight will become the first step in saving the empire. However, loss in the battle will result in the 12th floor being closed. Quest C. The Devil King did appear. Where even is the Ejim Empire? The confused hunters began to realize the situation. Some hunters wordlessly pulled out their weapons, and others formed teams. And some hunters aimed at the goblins. I wonder. Sword Saint at the front muttered to himself. Blood was creating a lake where he was. About 6 monsters fell to the ground headless. I don't know the exact situation. But you're saying we should knock them down first. And he jumped into battle. Hunters behind him who were frozen all shouted after seeing him.
Woo!
Nice. Let's follow the Sword Saint. Fucking goblin bastards. For the past 6 years, I cut off thousands of your necks. Thousands of hunters jumped into battle with their weapons, and thousands of hunters followed them. The defending forces suddenly grew in number. And when the battle was turning into a mess. Okay. I was smiling in the back. Because I heard a voice that others couldn't. Welcome, Hunter Kim Gongja. The reward for clearing the 10th floor is being given. A voice that announced my bonus. Normal stage reward. Blessing of the War God is being awarded. You can view the map of the tower from the 11th floor to the 20th floor. A translucent map popped up in front of me. It was a mini-map. Red and blue spots dizzily twisted around each other and dominated the map. Looking closely, the red spots seemed like monsters, and the blue monsters seemed like the human forces. Tisk tsk, yup. I knew a cheat bonus would come out. Bei Hurayong complained with a frown. While others crawl around on the floor, you'll be looking down from the sky, is that it? Sigh.
Yeah.
Don't think about building up your skills and use your head. This tower is really unfair when you think about it. The fed people continue eating and the ones well off keep. But Bei Hurayong's boomer speech couldn't go on. Hidden stage reward. Blessing of the human god is being awarded. You can view all NPCs' names and locations from the 11th to the 20th floor. Huh? Because that wasn't the end of the bonus notifications. Hidden stage reward. Blessing of the merchant is being awarded. You will receive a chosen item from the 11th floor to the 20th floor. Next to the mini-map, lists popped up. One was a directory of all the NPCs' names and locations. The other was a directory with items and their effects. We were speechless. Kill them. Push them away. Ack. The goblins are throwing spears. The hunters on the front line diligently fought. Orcs cried out and human soldiers spilled blood. In the middle of the noisy battlefield, Beihurayong and I were silent. The silence was soon broken. Ah. It's a game to get skills. What kind of crazy game of luck is this? With opposing exclamations. Theme. The tower had different themes on floors. Maybe genre will help you understand better. The first floor to the 10th floor was tutorial. There was a hunting ground and a city where you could rest however long you wanted. It was a step for beginners to get used to the tower. And from the 11th floor to the 12th floor was a Devil King attack genre. Or a Devil King soldier genre. Since it was protecting the human empire, even a defense genre could be applied as well. It's defeating the Devil King's forces coming in hordes. Anyhow, from now, the level of fighting was different. Monsters didn't roam around by themselves like in the beginning hunting grounds. They formed groups. Legions. They made an army. There were only two ways to attack a monster army. Be a powerful one army strong enough to defeat the army by yourself or dash. I looked at the front lines. Sword Saint was massacring the monsters with a blue aura. Fight with your own army. I smirked. The path I pick this time will be the latter. Since I got the bonus. Wouldn't it be a waste if I left this alone? Of course, I didn't have any talent leading an army. Since I never did it before. But all you had to do was build those talents up. I was confident in making a new talent. Status window. It was to check my current status before I actually jumped into battle. Name, Kim Gongja. Rank, E class. Skill, 5 out of 5. 1. I want to be like you, S+. 2. Returner's Clockwork Watch, EX. 3. Sword Constellation. 4. Goblin High Society, F. 5. Night and Day Fire Caution, A. Good. A smile spread across my face. Excuse me, Sword Emperor. Did you just curse and say it was a game of luck?
Yeah.
I cursed. You poop-like zombie. I'll show why it's a game of skill. I opened the NPC directory first. With the blessing of the human god, countless NPCs popped up. Anju, position, scouter/location, 11th floor Port City Kunker. Korea, position, ordinary soldier/location, 11th floor Port City Kunker. Sort, position, farmer/location, 13th floor Barons Field. Lapa Casabella, position, government official/location, 14th floor building. It was a list of 10,000s, no, of 100,000s. It was a bundle of confusion. But marking only NPCs on the 11th floor. Like it had understood me, the list moved by itself. Other names disappeared and only names that were related to what I requested popped up. Anju, position, conscripted soldier/location, 11th floor Port City Kunker. Korea, position, ordinary soldier/location, 11th floor Port City Kunker. Court, position, petty officer/location, 11th floor Port City Kunker. I spoke without rest. Order in the ones with the highest skills. Only the top 100. Gasp. Sound escaped from Beihurayong's mouth. He must have realized what I was trying to do already. If he had only been complaining earlier, he was really frantic now. He quickly tried to convince me. Wait. Zombie. I don't think this is it. Let's slowly get stronger. Slowly train, build up skills, and learn sword techniques. How nice is that? It doesn't matter if I do that later. Eek. Even if you're a weak-ass guy, this is really not right. Aren't you even embarrassed, doing that with the name of Gongja, Confucius? Yes. I'm not embarrassed. Regardless of what he said, the list moved according to my words. Letters scattered midair and gathered again. A new list appeared. Rohan Pansaba, position, Pansaba Knightage leader. Sarbastijam, position, Conquer offense leader. Jeshua Kamancha, position, High Knight of Imperial Knightage. Tamund, position, highest soldier of defense. All right. It was almost done. I ignored Bei Hurayong and shouted. Mark where the NPCs with the Legion leading skills are. Only the top 3. Aak. Yes. I didn't have the talent to lead a legion. But what was the problem with that? I could take it from an NPC with the skill. Sarbastijam, position, Conquer offense leader. Rohan Pansaba, position, Pansaba Knightage leader. Sane Carmen, position, Defense Legion colonel. The directory of 10,000s decreased to 3. I gave my final orders. Locate them on the map. You scammer bastard. With the blessing of the human god, the names spread out. They changed into a green light, and entered the map with the blessing of the war god. It was perfect. The NPCs with the skills to lead were on the map. Okay. Marking my current location. And finally, my location. Definitely a game of skill. Look. If people have the basics to apply things, you can make a good bonus into an extraordinary bonus. This is all because I use my head. Funny. Use your head? You're just using tricks. Using tricks is also a talent. It was done. I didn't have any reason to hesitate. I quickly ran to find the NPC closest to me. Thankfully, they were nearby. The general who had greeted the hunters with warriors. It was that NPC who had the best leading skill. General Sarbastijam. Oh ho. Warrior from another world. What's the matter? The general looked at me from giving orders to his deputies. His mustache was cool. His skill would be cool too. Run away! Bei Hurayong cried out. Run away, you stupid NPC guy. This isn't a warrior but a piece of scum. You're gonna be leeched off of everything. Scum, he said. He was completely proficient in speaking the language of our world now. Since you trust me as a warrior, I have something to request of you. Go ahead. Thanks to you all, there seems to be hope. If it's something I can do, I'll gladly do it. Please kill me. The general's eyes widened. What do you mean? Actually, I have a secret weapon. Like a self-destruct button. If I die, the blessing of a god will descend upon the battlefield. If the blessing is activated, the empire can win. I put on a serious expression. My acting was unexpectedly pretty good. Thinking of the moment Flame Emperor burned me up, my face instantly hardened and my voice became determined. Ack! It's a lie. He doesn't have a self-destruct button. Huh. The loser ghost who died right before the 100th floor should be quiet. That kind of blessing, no. But kill you? I can't. General Sarbastijam. Please think about what's important. Whether you use your sword or not, I'll kill myself. Since it's a sure way to guarantee victory for the Empire. I spoke with a serious expression. I'm asking this favor of you. Favor. You're the leader of this port. You want victory for the Empire more than anyone. Rather than dying by my own hand or by a monster, I want to leave my life in your hands. There's no time. Hurry. The general had a pitiful face. The survival of our empire is at stake, but to take the life of a warrior from another world. Hey. Hey. You believe this? Shit. You're gonna believe Kim Zombie, this guy? Seriously? Our world is definitely cursed. The attack of the Devil King from legend, and how the magical animals continue to strike. And to take your life, it must all be a curse. Your brain is a curse. Please don't forgive our sins, God. The general spoke in a regretful voice like he was the main character of a tragedy. A sharp and elegant blade came out. I'll send you off without any pain. Thank you. I really was thankful. Dying didn't matter, but I didn't like pain. Please tell me your name. Kim Gongja. Kim Gongja, I thank you on behalf of the Empire. You are a true warrior. Cashing. Like what he promised, it was a clean cut. The blade of aura instantly cut my neck. You have died. NPC Sarbist skills are being randomly copied. As I expected, copying an NPC's skills was possible. And when everything became dark, I heard Bei Hurayon shout out. Stop dying, you bastard. Do you like cheating like this? I answered him in my mind. Sit Gongja says. It's lit. The exciting day began again. They said this. Above a running person, there was a flying person. And also this. Next to a sword-wielding hunter, there's a dead hunter. Gongnim said that. Hey, what's that? Huh? He seems like a hunter judging by his clothes. The battlefield. Hunters turned back from diligently swinging their swords. It was a dangerous thing to do while battling monsters. But they had a bit slack to do that. I made that slack for them. Warrior. The general shouted back at me. Are you sure this is the right way? His body shook. My body also shook. That's because we were riding the same horse. He was holding the saddle while I was behind him. My butt felt horrible, but I felt amazing. Crystal. If you head this way and turn to the right, that's where the demon army's commander is. There's a bit of monsters nearby. Oh well. It's okay. We can get rid of them. Oh. Okay. Because behind us, there were 1,000 warriors behind us. Army, follow me. He lifted his baton. The warrior of the goddess will protect us.
Woo!
The soldiers shouted and followed the general. The soldiers, who had always been on defense, took the offense. Goblins and orcs got in the way, but they fell to the side. It was the effect of the mini-map. I advised the general to attack where the forces of the demons were less. Turn to the right here. Understood. Warrior of the goddess. Of course, I hadn't gotten the general's trust with just the mini-map. Should I say it's because of the day's repeat? I needed a lot of preparation. I experienced the general's trauma when I got my skills, but I'll talk about that later. Status window. Because it was time to focus on what was on hand right now. First, skills. The techniques I had were like so. Name, Kim Gongja. Rank, E class. Skill, 5 out of 5. 1. I want to be like you, S+. 2. Returner's Clockwork Watch, EX. 3. Sword Constellation. 4. Goblin High Society, F. 5. Discernment of the Battlefield, B. The new skill I got is related to war. Like what it was called, it was a skill that identified the battlefield. If our forces had the upper hand or not. How to attack the enemies. I could instinctively feel it. It made me into somewhat of an expert. Although that's not all of the skills. I grinned and lifted my sword. It wasn't an ordinary sword. It wasn't what I used to skill myself either. The shining sword body. There was an image of a lion's open mouth on it. As the silver light spread everywhere, the warriors gaped. It's the light sent from the goddess. The holy sword from the beginning.
Ah.
The empire hasn't been abandoned. Hurrah for Ejim Empire. Yes. This sword was the last puzzle piece for me to lead the army. It was what I picked with the blessing of the merchant god. Lefanta Ejim's holy protection sword. Rarity, legend. Summary: one who holds the holy sword will hold the empire. The holy sword from ancestors. There is a legend that the ancestor who founded the Ejim Empire received it from the goddess. One who holds the holy sword will be held by fate. The ancestor chose his successor and left. Did he kill himself? Was he killed by the rebelling forces? When legends and history weren't different, his whereabouts were unknown, and so was the holy swords. Only leaving a line in history. The day fate arrives, so will the one with the holy sword. The one who had the holy protection sword will be absolutely trusted and supported by the people of the Ejim Empire. The effects of the legendary item were outstanding. Hurrah for the empire! Hurrah for the warrior! Goddess, protect us! Attack! Kill those dirty creatures! The soldiers ran forward. Kia. From what the soldiers saw, I was a legendary warrior. The real person leading them was the NPC general, but it felt like I was leading them. I felt like I was flying. Good.
Ah.
Good. I feel like I cleared the hidden stage just with this. It's a fucking useless item. Bei Hurayung flew up when I was about to fly up. Dash, it's just a shiny sword that's slightly strong. TSK. Your sentimentality must be weak since you're a ghost. This is a shiny sword that all the NPCs from the 11th floor to the 20th will go ballistic for. Got it? NPCs aren't just tools to get quests. It was a theory of coincidence. They're beings to help break through them. And the development actually worked. While the hunter players were sweating like dogs, I was breezing through the battlefield with the general. What's that? Every time I passed a hunter, they were surprised. There were even some who were stunned. Why is he going around with the general? Isn't he an NPC? Wow. Wait. It looks like he's giving orders to the general. No, look at his clothes. He's a hunter. Who is that person? Surprised voices. Suspicious voices. Jealous voices. They were reactions for when people looked up at someone who was above them.
Ah.
I was drunk. This is it. This. Dang, it's to die for. This psycho isn't training his aura like I taught him to, but using it to eavesdrop on gossip. Zombie. You're amazing. You're really like a zombie. What can I do? The attack was working. The monsters continued to fall. They were even trying to block us frantically, but... Hup. Skilled hunters like Sword Saint massacred the orcs at the front, and ha-hot.
Ah.
What a touching day. A new battle. A new era. How dash dot. Shut up. If you have time to blabber on, get another goblin. Members from large guilds like Heretic Questioner and Venomous Snake were at the sides. The wings of the enemies were falling off. There weren't any extra forces to stop up. Clip. Clop. The heads of goblins were crushed under the horses of the soldiers, and spears pierced the orcs. We can win. Follow the general. Follow the warrior. Attack. And attack some more. From some point, there was a hole in the enemy forces. We were almost to the commander. The minimap marked him as a red spot. Go, Gore. Past the general's shoulder, I could see a High King goblin. Huh. I scoffed. I was wondering what the leader of the enemy forces was, but it was a High King goblin? Of course, it was probably stronger than the High King goblin from the 5th floor that I cleared. Since he was leading forces of thousands. But it was only a goblin. If his subordinates were swept aside, I wouldn't be hurt. More than anything. Your skill is activating. I had a skill specialized for goblins. Gork. Gore. As the goblin lifted his cane, the monsters around him came at us. If it was human language, he was probably saying something like, "Stop those humans, fools." And to that High King goblin, I shouted, "Gork." In fluent goblin language. Go, Gork. Gore. Gork. He was clearly flustered. As the leader was flustered, so were his underlings. And during that time, our forces were fighting. The last hope for the enemies flew away. Gork? The High King goblin fumbled. Then, he realized that he was tricked. But it was too late. I put aura into the holy protection sword and powerfully swung it. It was a nice gork. I cut the goblin like tofu. His head flew off without even a scream. Whoa! The general shouted, slowing down the horse. The warrior has gotten rid of the demon creature. He wasn't saying it to me. It was to let his soldiers know. The general put aura in his voice so his voice could be heard in the noisy battlefield. The people around him understood what he was saying. The demon creature has been cleared. The warrior of the goddess had gotten rid of the enemy leader. From the general to his deputies. From the deputies to the commanders. From the commanders to the soldiers. Voice rang out again and again like an echo. Hoo-hoo. Flags were waved in the air. Cheers. It was the cheers of the soldiers. I got off the horse and looked around. I met the eyes of a flag bearer. He had lost his left arm in the battle. He was waving the flag with his right arm. When our gazes met, he smiled happily. And waved the flag even more. Sunlight poured onto the flag. Hurrah for the Ejim Empire! We had won. Get rid of the enemies. Attack. Attack. Don't let even one escape. The tables were completely turned. Kirk, care. The beastly monsters started to run away. Ha! Look at them. The gazes of the hunters changed. A fight between armies wasn't familiar, but chasing after individual monsters was a hunter's specialty. The hunters smiled, baring their teeth, and ran at the goblins and orcs. Kill them all. It was time to hunt. The massacre didn't last long. Sometime later, a clear voice rang out over the battlefield. Stage clear. Today, the 11th floor stage has been cleared. It was the voice of victory. letting everyone know again. Today, the 11th floor stage has been cleared. Cheers exploded. Woohoo! Is this real? Aren't we too strong? Hooray for Black Dragon Guild! Hunters exploded in cheers this time. Some threw their caps like in the square, and others hugged each other. The clearing of the 11th floor in less than a day. It was an amazing attack. Calculating subjugators, calculation complete. It has exceeded the limit. The top 10 clearers are being announced. The hunters looked up. Something was being engraved into the sky with light. Level of contribution rank. Rank 1. Kim Gongja. Rank 2. Sword Saint. Rank 3. Heretic Questioner. Rank 4. Venomous Snake. Rank 5. Crusader. Rank 6. Witch. Rank 7. Count. Familiar names popped up. But as the list became complete, the hunters started murmuring to themselves. Huh? Rank 1 doesn't have a nickname? Sword Saint is rank 2? Kim Gongja. It hadn't been long since my name was released in the media. People looked confused. But someone shouted.
Ah!
The 10th floor clearer. Oh right. They said his name was Gongja. Someone who hasn't received a nickname from the hunter is rank 1 again? Are they like a secluded master or something? Bei Hurayong looked sour.
Ha!
Secluded master, my ass. Just a weak ass who plays tricks. Do you acknowledge it's a game of skills now? No. Never. He whipped around. He seemed to be made because I didn't train with my sword. This ghost prioritized basic skills over everything else. I bitterly smiled. I'll train my sword technique before the 20th floor is over, so don't be mad. Really? His ears twitched. Yes. Of course. I can't not do anything when I hang out with the Sword Emperor, right? You're someone who passed the 99th floor. I should beg to be taught. Right. He spun around the air like he was never in a bad mood. Kia. Zombie finally sees my worth. Even though the tower is a bit different, I really climbed the tower in my world like there was not yesterday. The 11th floor was a piece of cake.
Ah!
It's easy. So easy to ease this ghost. How could it be this easy? Warrior of the goddess. While Bei Hurayong was flying above, the general approached me. His body was dirty with the blood of the monster. Only his face was clean, like he wiped it just now. We were able to be victorious thanks to you. Really, thank you. It's nothing. We all won together. Ahaha. He scratched his palm like he was embarrassed. I worried for nothing. Sorry? A long time ago, we received a prophecy. That when a devil king came, warriors from another world would come, so we didn't have to worry, but I didn't believe it. Why would warriors fight for their lives in a world that wasn't even theirs? He smiled. But it was just useless concern. Thank you again. He held out his hand. Even though it was a different world, it meant the same thing. Was it because people had hands in both worlds? I look forward to your accomplishments in the future. I'll work hard. We shook hands. Calculating rewards, calculation complete. Rewards are being given to the highest ranks. Then, a light surrounded me from the sky, along with a voice. It wasn't just me. Light came from the sky onto the battlefield here and there. 1, 2, 3, 4. A total of 10 rays of light poured from the sky. The highest-ranking challengers enter the 12th floor first. Until the highest-ranking challengers receive their rewards, the remaining challengers cannot enter the 12th floor. Letting everyone know again. The highest. The people who contributed the most would get the rewards first. I felt sorry for the 11th or 12th hunters, but this was a reasonable system. Before the light completely covered me, the general spoke. Please, take care of our empire. And we were summoned to the 12th floor.